Why it sucks to be Pandora. You open your eyes for the very first time and you don't see a mother's face. You see fire, a forge, smoke curling through the air, hands that don't belong to anyone who will ever love you. You are not born screaming, you are shaped in silence. There is no warmth here, no heartbeat to match your own, only the sound of metal and breath and divine impatience. This is how your life starts. You are the first woman, but not in the way people like to imagine. You are not created because the world needed you. You are created because Zeus is angry. A titan named Prometheus stole fire and gave it to humans, and instead of punishing him alone, the king of the gods decides humanity needs a lesson that will last forever. Not a warning, not a reminder, a wound that never heals. That lesson is you. He tells Hephaestus to build you out of earth and war. Not gently. Not naturally. You are molded like a tool, like something meant to be used. Your body is shaped with care, but not kindness. Every curve is intentional. He makes you beautiful on purpose, because the punishment only works if people want it. If they reach for it willingly, then the gods gather. Athena dresses you. She gives you weaving and needlework, skills meant to keep your hands busy and your world small, skills that bind you to looms and homes and quiet corners. Aphrodite steps forward and pours desire into your chest. Not love, desire, longing that never quite rests, the kind that makes you reach for things before you understand them, the kind that will later be called weakness instead of design. The seasons crown you with flowers so you look like spring itself, even though you are about to introduce winter to the human race. Hermes is last. He gives you speech, but not honest speech. He gives you clever words, lies that sound smooth, and a mind that questions. He builds curiosity into you like a loaded spring and then pretends it's a flaw. He smiles when he does it. Later, when the blame comes, he will never be mentioned. Finally, he names you Pandora, all gifted. Because every god has added something to you, and because you are the gift Zeus is sending to humanity. A gift with teeth. You are sent down to earth to a man named Epimetheus. His name means afterthought, which explains why he ignores every warning he's ever been given. His brother Prometheus told him never to accept anything from Zeus. But when you arrive, smiling, breathing, real, that warning disappears instantly. You are warm where gods are cold. You speak where silence ruled. You are impossible to refuse, that was the point. You move into his life, and with you comes a jar. A large clay pithos, the kind used to store grain or oil. It doesn't glow. It doesn't whisper. It just sits there, sealed, heavy, present. It is not hidden. It is not guarded. It is simply there, every day, occupying space in your mind. Inside it is everything. Sickness, hunger, grief, pain, old age, loss. All the things humans have never had to deal with before. Zeus doesn't need to force you to open it. He already made sure you would want to know what's inside. He made sure not knowing would hurt more than knowing. You look at the jar, you think about it, and that moment becomes your crime. Eventually the lid comes off, maybe by accident, maybe by instinct. Maybe because curiosity was installed in you like a ticking mechanism. The story never really cares how it happens. It only cares that it does. Intent doesn't matter. Design is never questioned. The moment the seal breaks, the world changes. Evils pour out into the air and scatter across the land and sea. Humans who once lived without suffering now wake up sore, tired, afraid. They get sick. They grow old. They bury each other. They work until their bodies break and then keep working anyway. They learn fear, and then they learn how to pass it on. And when the dust settles, everyone looks at you. And that look matters. Because it isn't curiosity that see. It isn't confusion or fear or regret. It's guilt, neatly packaged, something simple enough to point at. Humans don't have to wrestle with the idea that their suffering was engineered by gods who claim to love order. They don't have to ask why Zeus needed a proxy for his punishment. They don't have to confront the fact that this was never about you at all. Blame feels better when it has a face, so your name becomes convenient. Portable. A story parents can tell children. A warning that curiosity leads to ruin. A way to explain pain without challenging power. Every illness, Every famine, every broken body can be traced back to one woman who opened something she shouldn't have. And the more suffering spreads, the more useful your story becomes. Because as long as people are angry at you, they never have to be angry at the gods. You manage to slam the lid shut before everything escapes. One thing remains inside the jar: hope, Elpis, and nobody agrees whether that makes you a savior or a monster. Maybe hope was preserved for humanity. Maybe Zeus trapped it so people would suffer without relief. Maybe hope itself is the cruelest thing of all. Either way, you don't get credit. You just get blamed. Your name becomes shorthand for disaster. Centuries pass, and it somehow gets worse. A scholar mistranslates your jar as a box, and now it's small, personal, something you could carry in your arms. Pandora's box spreads across languages and cultures like it was always meant to exist. No one questions it. No one corrects it. The mistake sticks, and so does the idea that this was a simple, personal act of curiosity. Instead of a cosmic setup, artists paint you half-naked, staring into a container like temptation itself. Writers compare you to Eve, because apparently one woman being blamed for everything wasn't enough. The church adopts your story without hesitation. You become proof that women bring ruin just by wanting to know things. Curiosity becomes sin. Silence becomes virtue. And the gods who made you never come up again. No one talks about Zeus designing a punishment. No one mentions Hermes programming deception into your voice. No one questions why curiosity is a sin only when you have it. Power disappears from the narrative. Responsibility flows downward. Even worse, evidence survives that this wasn't always your story. Ancient art shows a figure named Anasadora, she who sends up gifts, rising from the earth with open arms, a goddess of abundance. A personification of grain stored underground and brought back up to feed people. An earth mother, not a mistake. Some Greeks may have worshipped you as a giver of life before Hesiod turned you into a warning label, but that version doesn't last. Hesiod's story wins. Patriarchy prefers it that way. You are rewritten from earth-born generosity into man-made punishment, from all giving to all blamed. And once that shift happens, it never really reverses. Every retelling sharpens the edge. Every metaphor erases your voice a little more. Your name survives for thousands of years, but not your perspective. People still say don't open Pandora's box when they mean don't ask questions, don't investigate, don't look too closely. They don't say don't design people as traps. They don't say don't punish the innocent. They don't say don't shift blame downward. They say your name instead. So this is why it sucks to be Pandora. You never chose anything. You were created to fail, engineered to act, and condemned for doing exactly what you were made to do. And the worst part is that everyone knows your story. They just never listen to you.